Grand Rising, everybody. Joseph Hennessy. Name of my channel is The Children. I am a starseed. Haven't been around in a few days because I decided to fall off my bike again. Just to remind myself that I'm still part of the matrix. I still feel pain, suffering. Wish I didn't, but that's the way it goes. Until we go to the fifth dimension, we're still going to feel those things, because when we go to the fifth dimension, there will be no pain and suffering. No more of the 3D construct, the duality. You just came here to have a human experience. The darkness versus the light, good versus evil. Just all part of the journey, the human experience that you came to experience. Could have had one life, could have had 1,000 lives. It's all what you decided before you incarnated on this planet. You have a life mission, a plan, a journey, a mission. So if you're listening to me and you feel like you're different, you never belonged here, like myself, well, because you probably didn't. You don't understand all the evil, the lack of compassion, all the wars, how we don't look out for each other. But that's going to change in the fifth dimension. The Law of One. It's a book I read, by the way, very good book. The Law of One. When it all comes down to, we are all identical. We are all part of source energy, God, the universe, whatever you choose to call him or her, and I'm not using pronouns because God is the universe, source energy, all creation, seen and unseen. I don't necessarily believe it's a person, because God is everything. There's too many other different types of entities out in that galaxy for God to be any one type. So we're all different. We're all extraterrestrials. Came here to have a human experience duality. But the planet keeps going wrong, keeps getting screwed up because it keeps getting infiltrated, and we lose the balance between the masculine and feminine on the planet. And this planet is evidently way too masculine. Where's the femininity, compassion, kindness, caring, and empathy that we lack as humanity, because it's taught to us. We're polarized by all the tragic things that happen on Mother Gaia, called memory holding. It bothers us for a couple of days and we move on to the next thing. But that's going to change in the fifth dimension, where we all will live in peace, no wars, abundance, plenty of food, water, housing for everybody, because there's enough for everybody, and billions more. It's all changing. But I wanted to share a little bit about our president, who the TV said all they do is just bash the shit out of him nonstop. He's running around the Mideast signing historic business deals because he's a businessman, not a politician. But nobody's talking about this. In the early 2000s, after 9/11, the United States had a plan to destroy the Middle East. 7 countries. And there's a general, I forget what his name is what's that general's name? General Douglas says that the U.S. had a plan to destroy 7 Middle Eastern countries. Well, guess what? 5 of them have been destroyed. Iran, and there's one more that I can't remember off the top of my head right now, are the 2 that are left. So Trump's running around the Middle East signing deals with all those countries because it's all part of the new world money system that's coming in. Fair trade for everybody. All the terrorists, nobody knows the real underlying factors of what he was doing because we're so used to the old political system that lies, cheats, and steals from us. He knows what he's doing. Everything that they beat him over the head for doing has bounced back if there's been some adverse effects at the beginning. It's all part of the process, the future, the plan of the fifth dimension. Nisara Gasara. It's all part of the new money system. One world money. There shouldn't be any value difference between anybody's currency. It should be all the same. All countries have enough natural resources and production to be able to produce goods to support themselves. But we're told that all the third world countries are so poor there is nothing. But they keep them poor so they can steal all their natural resources. So if you bother to do your own research, and you would see the treatment and the receptions that Donald Trump's getting in the Middle East, they're treating him like a king. They gave the man an airplane, and everybody's up in arms about it. They gave him a new Air Force One. He's not going to keep that airplane. The man doesn't even take a salary. All they do is make up lie after lie after lie about him. One of the things that made me do my own research was when they said he called veterans losers and suckers and chumps. And I'm thinking to myself, what president would say that about any military person? And he didn't say that. Everything they make up about that man is a lie. We all have our faults. Nobody's perfect. But he has our best interests in heart. He loves this country. If you go back and you look at his interviews in the 80s and 90s, he hasn't changed. He says all the same things that he says today. We get taken advantage of. America pays for everything. Why do we need NATO for? Should have been disbanded in 1990 after the Cold War ended. It's all part of the war machine. But he's the president of peace and prosperity. But nobody bothers to do their own research. Stop watching the news. Everything he does is for our interest. We have to say this over and over again. They loved him until 2016 when he switched sides and said he was going to run for president as a Republican. And they didn't rig that election in 2016 because they didn't think he was going to win. They said there's no way the American people are going to vote for this guy. And guess what? He won. The first 4 years, his whole administration was against him. This time, he knows who the good guys and bad guys are. It's going to come to an end. All the lies, all the deception. In the 2020 election, there was 15 million extra votes that went missing in the 2024 election. Spike in votes in the 2020 election were due to the paper ballots. The mail-in ballots, excuse me, not the paper ballots, the mail-in ballots. They were stuffing ballot boxes all over the place. So they rigged that one. But that had to play out, and that will all soon be coming out when you find out all the traitors from 2021 to 2024. And I'm not going to mention your names to know who they are. They're on both sides. They're all traitors. Anybody who's an anti-Trumper, never Trumper, who's a Republican, is just a globalist like all the rest of them. So they're out to get them, but it's not going to work because slowly but surely we are waking up humanity as a collective to what they're truly doing to us. Over and over again, I say you are a slave on a slave planet. The children are enslaved, $37 trillion. But it's going bye-bye. We have to see it because we don't believe it. They're up in arms about that airplane, but you got Hakeem Jeffries, the Speaker of the Minority Party, I believe. He got a free condo from somebody. But he doesn't talk about that, but he's out there screaming, jumping up and down. They're all hypocrites. Letitia James, New York, the one who brought up all those bullshit charges against Trump. Well, guess what? She was doing all the things that she accused him of doing. She was screwing the federal government, and she works for the federal government. So what the other side does is they accuse you of what they're doing. So that's their MO. Donald Trump is a good guy. He loves his country. Do your research on him. They all loved him. He was on Oprah. They were all saying, "Are you going to run for president, Donald? We would love that." Oprah Winfrey was going to be his vice president. That was never going to happen because she's a satanic piece of garbage. But that's going to be coming out too, with all the Epstein. They're hiding all the pedophiles is what they're doing because the world is run by pedophiles. Things are changing. This is part of the financial reset. Nasara Gasara. We, the meek, shall take back our rightful gifts from God because there's enough gifts for everybody. So I hope it happens really quick. It's not happening quick enough, but we're going to get there. Give the guy a chance. Do your own research. Stop watching TV set. This is always about, for me, the children, which is going to free us. So enough with Joe Hennessy today. Can't do anything about the ambient noise because everywhere I go in the Matrix, there's plenty of ambient noise, airplanes, cars. You can hear the birds, so you get everything in my videos. But I'm keeping it real. Joseph Hennessy 1161 is the channel on YouTube. The name of the show is The Children. It's all about fixing Mother Guy for the kids. Everybody have a wonderful day. See you on the next one.